thoughts of an eighth house Leo. So I haven't done this in a while. So I have a new setup and everything. So this should be more fun. Uh, I've been hoping to make this more of like a. Let's see if I get myself in a better frame without exposing myself too much. Uh, uh, yes, that's much better. So I've been trying to make this more of like a classroom experience for people, so they could learn more and everything. But it is what it is. This is like a variety channel to where I get to playing music. I get to talk in astrology. You can see my my soldering gun that way right here. Uh, well, it's not really a gun. It's like a soldering iron for when I like to change guitar parts out or modify them. So a lot of crazy things. Not really crazy, but pretty normal for what's out there in the YouTube realm. Um, I've been quite a bit more active on Facebook and social media, which nowadays is kind of dangerous because people have been losing their jobs and everything. And I tell people, stay protected online. People shouldn't have enough information to be able to find where you work at all, ever. Your last job shouldn't even know where your new job is. So that's my opinion on it. So if you have a social media account and you're working and you're opinionated, your employment and your place of employment should not be on your social media at all. It shouldn't even be on your LinkedIn. If you have a LinkedIn, uh, make sure it's pretty much out of date. People are like, keep your LinkedIn up to date. I'm like, nope. Let LinkedIn know the last job you had, never the current job you have. And never let people know the current job that you have. Eighth house secret. Never let people know where your finances are coming from. Unless you really have to. Because there's certain situations that where people really actually have to. And you know those situations. But other than that, you should not let me publicly know like that. Like people brag about, oh, I'm a millionaire, I'm a billionaire. Here's my net worth. Real wealthy people, you wouldn't even know that they're actually wealthy. They're grinding so hard, they don't even know that they're wealthy. That's like real wealthy. Like, but. And then the definition of wealth is another subject too. Um, because wealth to me is connected to abundance, and the best definition of abundance, uh, that's the coolest one I've ever heard, was from a channeler named Bashar. Actually, he said abundance is being able to do what you need to do when you need to do it, and that was straight up wisdom. Um, and it was the moment to where I was like, you know what, I'm quite abundant. I have a strong mind. I have a strong ability, and lots of strong abilities actually. Um, Even stronger than I could actually really reveal on camera. Crazy shit uh, that I try to keep secret because if other spiritual people knew about what they can actually really do, uh, things could get a lot more dangerous than what they really are. Um, yeah, a lot more dangerous than what they really are. Like warfare would be, it's only another level. People are already trying to practice a lot of these hidden magics and things, and I'm thwarting them to the best of my ability because some of you guys don't know what the fuck you're doing and can destroy the planet with your bullshit. And I've been trusted to keep that realm and keep most of this realm pretty much safe. And a lot of us are. Like I told someone, God could send me back as a mosquito. God could send me back as a microbe. God could send me back as a bird. God could send me back as a butterfly. God could send me back as a human. God could send me back as a pig. God could send me back as a cow. God could send me back as any goddamn thing he wants to. Or they want to. Or it wants to. Divinity is broad. So usually these videos are super duper long. But I want to talk about some of the stars today and what's going on and how that might affect some people. So I'll pull that up. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share the screen, show you what I'm looking at. Don't you love the ads? So of course you have the sun in Leo, and I'm gonna add myself to this actually. There, I fit right there. So right now the sun is in Leo, Mercury's in Cancer, Venus is in Gemini, Uranus is in Taurus, Mars is in Aries, Neptune is in Pisces, Pluto and Jupiter are all in Capricorn. Luna, which right here. I think it's is it a node of the moon? Or is that where the moon is right now? Interesting. So the moon moves like this. So it's in this sector. It's in this sector of the sky. The Earth is here. We're right here. It's weird that we place that this is placed in the center because this is the actual center. But from our perspective, let's talk about some of these planets. Now, where should I begin? Okay. So Mars is at home in Aries right now. So Chiron is here too, and Aries is here too. So it's like people are like in a rock and a hard place with healing, and healing is like rough and gritty too. Like it's like opening up old wounds, and then it's causing chaos and kind of craziness and in this time, but it's the literal truth. It's been there for a long time, so things are really getting uprooted to seriously be judged, because it's all that energy right here is squaring Jupiter, Pluto, and Saturn. Jupiter is a planet that most people draw, luck from. The ruling sign of that is Sagittarius. Sagittarius has had Jupiter go through their sign, so they've gone through really really big things, really really abundant things, you know, cool stuff. Right now, Capricorns are getting some of that, but then it's like how Capricorns exist. It's like you have to do it the hard way. This is my ascendant sign, so I know you have to do things the hard way. You have to do the grand task of judging and seeing what everything is about. Is it dead? Is it sustainable for the future? Is it going to work for the age of Aquarius? That's where this eye is. Um, is it going to work for the age? Um, you know, uh, Pluto's there because that's like the planet of like death and deletion. Like, the funny thing is, Capricorns are very comfortable with having Saturn and Pluto in their sign, because basically their sign is pretty blessed by it because they're full of structure. It's like the whole. It's like it's like a cold rock. It's like a cold lone rock out in space. That's what Pluto is, and then there's Saturn, which has a bunch of cold rocks all around it. It's not that lonely, but it's like a whole center in its own self, and then so on. So Capricorn's all fine with that. It's like a convention, if you will. Uh, which is really interesting. Neptune is in Pisces, so uh, lots of dreams, lots of cloudiness, and all of that. Like when I say cloudiness, it's like people with may have a cloudy or clouded or impaired perspective, and they may seek out because there's a lot of squaring planets too. They may seek out substances, but because it's easy to want to just disassociate, run away. That door is definitely open through Pisces, and people starting where Neptune is. Uh, but I would recommend people not go that route. Um, I recommend people do art or other outlets that are creative and expressive. Also, Uranus is there, so if you do something creative and expressive right now, um, amongst this square, and you're happy with it, and you could show that you're solidly happy. Venus and Gemini is right here too in the communication sign. If you pursue your passion, and if you pursue what it is that you want to, you can skip a lot of death and destruction. By being creative, you can literally skip death and destruction at this time. By focusing on your passions, you could literally skip and cheat death and destruction at this time. Uh, Mercury's in Cancer too. So yeah, I would say off of what I'm looking at right now, if people were to just focus on their passions right now, it'd be nurtured. But if they decide to go against the grain, let's say you know something is dead and dying and has to change, and you're not letting it go, then the energy will just keep rolling upward, and it'll destroy you. And it'll be more of a forced destruction rather than a willing one. And I always tell people, look at what the spiritual masters did. Look at what Jesus did. Jesus left his disciples for 40 days. He left all of his possessions for a period of time. Hell, and even Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, that old figure, left all of his possessions behind and was like, fuck all that shit. You know? And at sometimes you have to be willing to do that, because sometimes giving up everything you're given the world. Yeah. Sometimes by giving up the smallness that you have, you can be given a world, a universe, a realm, you know. And Capricorn is the sign of, creating wealth, of creating possessions, starting a new structure, starting a new business, starting a new idea. It's a seed growing into for me, it's a seed growing into fruit really soon. It's not going up from here to Virgo. It's going up from here to here. Like, as a Capricorn, you're taking to you're you're kind of lucky. I mean, most mutable signs are kind of lucky because they get to first move up and ascend towards more fixability, more of their fixed sign. Uh, like, look at this. Capricorns get to ascend up into being an Aquarius, a Pisces, an Aries, and then a Taurus, basically. When you all grow that all spiritual wisdom, and you all connect to the spiritual life, you will inevitably get there. And then when everything gets finished growing, the fruit is picked in Virgo. It's judged harshly. It was like, oh, has it grown? Is it big enough? Is it ready to pick? What can we do with it? And then, after all of it, all that you pick, it goes all the way back around, back to you to sell it. So that's how it all works. From an earth sign perspective. From a fire sign perspective, which we have a lot going on here too. We have Mars trining with the sun, trining with the moon. So it's a very expressive time. So if you express your passion, again, if you express your passions, they'll show. They'll show clearly to the world, and the world will see it clearly, and embrace you and judge you for it. Embrace you, accept you, and judge you for it, to whatever whim they have. A lot of people are creating militias too, because they're falling for this martial Aries at home energy. People at home with war, people at home with combat, people at home with protesting, people at home with people being comfortable with just fighting, arguing, people being at home with just a drama and expressing drama too. People are just going to be at home with it because Mars is at home in the Aries in a war sign. And again, it's trining off of Leo and the sun. I'm in the moon in Sagittarius, so stuff will definitely pop off and go down in the next couple of days and a few weeks, because a lot of energy around judgment and just around people, what people can do and people are capable of. We have, an election year too, so people are really putting out the feelers for judgment and everything. And it's just how the world is, and it's how the world is going. And I recommend people be more creative than destructive. I always advocate for more creative and constructive means than reductive ones and destructive ones. And people might say, "Oh, Dennis, you are pro the protests. You're pro Black Lives Matter. You're pro all of this. You're pro the destruction, tear down statues. You're pro this. You're pro Marxist. You're pro this. You also used to be a Trump supporter. You also supported Trump. You also supported the MAGA movement. You supported Patriot Prayer when they when they basically came into San Francisco and everything. So what the hell, Dennis? You're like the most confusing person in the fucking world. Like, you speak out of two sides of your mouth. I'm gonna address all this shit. You speak out of two sides of your mouth. You're already said I was confusing. But a lot of people think I'm really fucking confusing. But I'm very straightforward and very direct, too. Because a lot of crazy shit is happening. A lot of entanglements. That's a word. That's a word for 2020. Entanglements. A lot of entanglements have happened. And it's my squeaky ass chair. So people wonder what that sound is, my chair. And that's the truth. Like, it's, people have to be self-accountable, but also understand that right now is a time to really judge the system and how the system is going to go forward and how the system is going to have to work for everybody. Because if it doesn't work for some people, the system will end up just destroying itself and falling apart and collapsing. If it works for everybody, it'll be strong for the ages, through the age of Aquarius, for a long time coming, into the age of Capricorn, which is the goal of all of the Capricorns right now. Because guess what? If it's the age of Capricorns, the Capricorns don't have jack shit. And let me tell y'all, some people are thinking like, oh, the apocalypse is happening and all that. Yeah, things are changing. But truly, the end times, like, we're colliding with how do I explain this? The galactic center right now is in Sagittarius, in between Sagittarius and Capricorn. The galactic centers are, let's say, giant portals to where heaven's a ship. Heaven's a large ship. Heaven's a really large ship. Our galactic center has enough energy within it to pull that ship through. Right now, where the heaven ship is, it's in Sagittarius. It's in the Sagittarius constellation. And how it moves is really slowly compared to how we perceive time. It's moving as fast as it possibly can because it's a big as hell ship. And there's a lot of space. There's a lot of space. Some beings are gifted to teleport wherever the realm needs them to. Because they're blessed like that. And capable like that. And they're just God like that. So the ship is in the Sagittarius constellation, and God's pretty much partying there. and distracted. So we have about 1 or 2 ages. We have the age of Aquarius, then because we just finished the age of Pisces, and now we're going to the age of Aquarius, and then we're going to go into the age of Capricorn. The collision that's going to happen, and I say collision, is when God's ship, or heaven ship, comes through our galactic center in the age of Capricorn. So, it's very important, since we're beginning the age of Aquarius, for Capricorns to establish a good structure for all of the knowledge that is going to pour into the universe. Because if we don't have all that knowledge and structure built into us, judgment's going to come down on us like a ton of bricks in the age of Capricorn. And we won't even make it to the age of Sagittarius. We'll just get deleted. And that's the goal of people right now in this age. So people are talking about the world ending and apocalypse. Nah, it's not happening right now. But during the age of Capricorn, God's eye will be on us for sure. Right now, God's got a party at home. And I said at home too, which should be a hint to some astrologers. God's got a party at home in heaven ship, because all the other planets are at home and everything's at home. The universe is kind of aligning itself in a very interesting way in the age. But the ship's going to end up moving soon. But be lucky that God's very entertained by his own reflection and jumping through a bunch of different beings and using a bunch of different eyes and atoms and jumping and doing a bunch of different things. It's beautiful. We're never separate. But the main being is in the heaven ship, and it's in the Sagittarius constellation right now. Just so people know. And I want people to be really aware of that. Also, if Earth gets fucked up, God's going to be really mad at all the angels that are here, especially the ones that are in human bodies, that are charged. Oh, that's my phone. Poke my ringtone. That are charged with taking care of things, watching the gardeners, making sure the gardeners aren't forgetting their task. And gardeners, I mean every being on this damn planet, mosquitoes included. We're all gardeners on the world. Every last being on this planet is a gardener. And God is visiting soon. I mean, soon to heaven ship. If you wonder where people are like, oh, that's where heaven ship is. Where's is hellish ship? Is hellish ship? Where's hell? Ooh, that's deep. I wonder if I should reveal that. I'm going to save that one for later. But yeah, heaven ship is in this age. So you guys humanity has a lot of time, but I recommend it fixes the structure, get rid of racism, become intergalactic. Heaven ship will love to come through the galactic portal to an intergalactic situation. You'd be like, wow, I did a good job. So, just so you know. And we do have other life in other parts of our Milky Way galaxy. And around our galactic center as well. That Heaven ship is very curious about. So, we should probably get connected with all of them as well. Because Heavenship would love to welcome new people aboard. I mean, it hasn't been here in a long time, so you might end up seeing long, 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 long lost ancestors. And then a few that can manifest to Heavenship. Yeah, and I say manifest to Heavenship too. As in your spiritual being can actually teleport to it from anywhere. Because that's how Heavenship was built. God made it perfect. Really. Like, it's brilliant. You should see the creation room on Heavenship. But it's how most angels get here. and But I digress. So 2020. Let's talk about a little bit more the coronavirus that's coming at people. And that's all a part of the this trine. Another trine is happening. I mean, the major trines are happening right here. It's between the planets Mars, usually when people talk about trines, I like to stay within the same elements. But I challenge people to, and I challenge myself to just stay with what the planets are saying, and how the planets are kind of communicating. So whenever I kind of go like at things like an angle like this, I'm like tracing an angle like that's like a triangle shape right here, right? So we have one point of the triangle here, another point of a triangle here, another point of a triangle here. But also, this is a crucial planet right here, Uranus and Taurus, which is Taurus is about like having stability and all of that, and having Uranus here means a lot of disruption. So a lot of Tauruses are going through sun signs might be going through upheaval in their lives or a lot of changes in structure and all that because the world is kind of upside down. So that's why it's kind of going, the world is going the way it is right now because the main sign of structure and stability has Uranus in it. So people are not just feeling uncomfortable within themselves, but also outside of themselves. So I'm going to reiterate, confidence and following your passion will literally save you from death and destruction at this time. And I recommend people to just follow their passion and be creative. Be creative about solutions. Be creative and inclusive about solutions. Which is super duper important. Because no solution is just clear. Like for me, I tell people, I'm like, I consider myself a fiscal conservative, but when Congress started dishing out money for stimulus and stuff like that, I had to take another harder look, and I was like, look, the reason why the black community is how it is because of poverty. You get rid of poverty, you kill the abortion rates, you kill the crime rates, you kill the homelessness rates, You kill the mass incarceration. You kill a lot of things by ending poverty, straight up. And the quickest way to end poverty in the black community, straight up, is reparations. It's a simple solution to a long held problem in the country. Very simple. Stops racial tensions, has people building instead of doing whatever the fuck. Yeah, some people might buy stupid shit with their money, but others won't. The right people won't. And I feel like that would stop a lot of racial tensions and all that. And it just is what it is. It'd be a better America too. It'd be America to where that we could say, how is America racist when no black person's in poverty and we've done this? So, and that's what I'm waiting for. And people are like, you're trying to force that down our throat? I'm like, it's not about white guilt. It's about ending poverty and killing and destroying some of these rates. Because you're spending more by keeping more people in prison. You're spending more by having administrative costs for all this shit. You're spending more by having even healthcare costs too. You're spending more by even welfare costs, which were a small percentage of welfare. Mostly white people are on welfare because they're the majority of the country. Like it's just numbers. That's just numbers. So, like, I don't know. It's just that simple to me. It's a simple solution, and people need to just go after it and stop fighting it and stop being like so old about it. Like we could destroy that in 2020. We could destroy that in 2021. We could destroy that anytime we want to, and end that narrative and close that narrative, and close that chapter. Like that was my goal. That was my goal being a Trump supporter. Like they were saying, oh, we're the party of Lincoln. We free the slaves. Okay, I'll say okay, that's fine. Cool talking point. But what about reparations? You can't talk about freeing Democrats on the Democratic plantation, which there isn't. But to nothing, there's no incentive. You have to offer people an incentive to do things always. Like corporations have the incentive to vote Republican for lower taxes. Right? And they have the same incentive for voting, Democrat as well, because how the system is all fucked up. So, it is what it is. And yes, I did support Trump. I don't now because he's been fucking up. And for a whole list of reasons, which should be a video. A video I'm going to make up soon. Because it's important. It's important to this time. It's important to how people view me and view this page and everything. And it just matters. It all matters. And that's my thoughts.